Stories like Make Way for Ducklings and Blueberries for Sal are some of the most well-known children's books by Maine author and illustrator Robert McCloskey. McCloskey wasn't born here, but his love for our state ran deep.
Back in July of 2022, former 207 reporter Beth McAvoy shared the story of a father-daughter duo from Scarborough who were bringing a piece of McCloskey's stories to life. The pair found an old Coast Guard dinghy and decided to turn it into their own version of the Tidely-Idly, the boat featured in Burt Dow, Deep Water Man. It took a full year for Sam Coolidge and his daughter Hazel to complete their mission, but they did it, and now they're sharing that story in their own children's book called The Tidely-Idly Returns to Sea.
People say like, oh, you ought to write a book and this and that. And I know when I was in high school, I was voted the least likely to ever finish reading a book. So to write a book for me and my daughter was something that was pretty, not in our wheelhouse. There's been plenty of children's books about people that have like found boats and built boats, but our boat, specifically the Tidely-Idly, for Robert McCloskey's book, was like, how do we write a book about this boat, but then kind of tie it into the original book? And if anything, it was such a special project for me and my daughter that this kind of memorializes it.
Hazel, what was your favorite part about putting the book together with your dad?
I liked, when the book was finished, knowing that me and my dad had accomplished something that other people could learn about, and not only the actual book, but we also have something that's sort of tied into this whole experience.
The illustrator is Pamela Pitsley.
Yes.
She couldn't be here today, but when you did see the illustrations that she had put together for you guys, what did you think?
They were beautiful. It's just amazing to think that someone did that and it wasn't printed or anything. It's incredible.
I met Pamela, scrolling through Instagram. I said, hey, I sent her a picture of me and Hazel in the Tidely-Idly on the day that it was launched. And just to memorialize it a little bit, I said, could you paint this in oil for me? And she did, and it was one of the most incredible oil paintings that I've had. It's hung up in the house, it's a centerpiece of our house right now because it's such a wonderful picture. And it's actually based on the cover of the book. Boy, it was a year or two later. I said, hey, we've got this idea of writing this book. Would you please illustrate it? Because she did the oil painting for us. And she immediately said no. And I'll ask again in about a week or so. She's like, it's not gonna, 2 days later, okay, I'll do it. You know what I mean? So it twisted her arm, and it's her first book that she's illustrated.
I feel like she really captured the essence of what you guys were going for.
She really did. All the illustrations are based on real places in Maine. So she asked, well, what do you want to do for this scene? And I would send her an actual photograph of the area or of an actual event of Hazel, scraping and painting the boat, or us tied up to a certain dock or stuff like that. But all the illustrations in the book, you can go there. There's scenes from the south side of Bailey Island. The Lobsterman statue is there, Mackerel Cove, Chip Johnson's Wharf in Harvestwell, East End Beach. They're all actual photos that we based it on. So it's pretty neat to see it. There's a lot of hidden Easter eggs in the book. Ooh. Yeah, we worked with Pamela to hide a few things, and there's a lot of hidden meanings in the book. If you look at the launch day photos, the registration on the boat is RM91514, which stands for Robert McCloskey and his birthday that he was born. So there's a few other birthdays in there, but we really tried to sneak a few things in there that you might not notice.
And so fixing up the Tidely-Idly was just one of the projects that you guys have done together over the years. You fixed up another boat, you fixed up an old truck. What do you guys get out of these experiences with each other?
It's just fun to have something to do around the house that we can both do together and enjoy. And we make so many memories working on this stuff, and it's nice to do it with my dad.
Hazel really puts up with a lot. I'm kind of a dork, and I like to keep busy. I have 2 weeks off every month, so I'm always working on something in the garage. There's always some little tinker going on, you know what I mean? So I try and find ways that what I like to do, I can bring Hazel in, whether it be her pink Boston Whaler or an old pickup truck we found in a junkyard, that she can learn to drive someday. Mm-hmm. And it's just oh, remember when we did that and we still have it, or this, that. But it's just trying to find things that I know that I can share with her that she might be interested in, just exposing her to different things.
And what do you think was more fun, fixing up the Tidely-Idly or making the book about fixing it up?
I think they both have their equal speciality about it. It's really hard to choose because we made so many wonderful memories along, with the journey of this, so it's very hard to choose.
Something that's notable is when we were talking about permission to write the book, using the Tidely-Idly and Burt Dow and all the thing from the McCloskey family, it got to a point where we were asking about royalties. And I said, do you want to split them? And they said, don't worry about the royalties, you keep them. Well, little did we know you don't make a lot of money off a children's book. Anyway, but the fact that they didn't want any of the royalties, we didn't feel good keeping it. So what we've done is donated all the royalties for me and Hazel to the Deer Island Public Library, which is the library that's the most local to the McCloskey family. So we're not making a dime off the book. It's all going to a charity, to the library where the McCloskey family is from. We just want people to read it. And when they buy a book, the library gets a donation in our name. And that's probably one of the happiest things about the whole process for us.
Being able to give back.
Yeah.
Give back, and it's a thank you to so many people that helped.
You can find your own copy of the Tidely-Idly Returns to Sea at the Penobscot Bay Press offices in Stonington or Blue Hill. It can also be purchased online.
And we'll